The Great Depression by Sneha, Bhasin. Introduction. The Great Depression is an extremely important moment in time, and you wouldn't want to miss the chance of reading about it. This story contains the most dreadful economic turndown the world has ever seen. The stock market, where everyone invested their savings, crashed. More than half the banks in the U.S. failed, and the prices of all goods increased. And so many more unfortunate events followed. What is the Great Depression? The Great Depression was a worldwide economic depression that started a whole decade and then another couple of years of long-lasting effect. The main part of the depression lasted between 1929 to 1939. It all started when the stock market crashed. A stock market is a place where everyone invests their money, so when it crashed, the money went with it. The unfortunate time in history is about how everyone lost their money and how they achieved it all back while slowly healing the problem. What caused it? America's Great Depression began with the dramatic crash of the stock market on Black Thursday, October 24, 1929, when 16 million shares of stock were quickly sold by panicking investors who had lost faith in the American economy. Since many people were craving more money ever since they went broke due to the stock market crash, the people with goods still at hand increased their prices, hoping someone with their savings with them would still buy it. That caused a huge problem, where many people could not afford any goods at that point. In 1930, the circumstances got worse. More than half the banks in the whole U.S. failed. Many citizens had lost their job. For those who were lucky enough to keep their job, their salary dropped by a good amount. By 1930, 4 million Americans who were looking for a job could not get employed. In 1931, that amount had increased to 6 million. The New Deal. In 1932, Franklin D. Roosevelt had gotten elected for president, but did not take office until 1933. Roosevelt did whatever he could to get everyone out of the Great Depression. Right as Roosevelt took office, he made the program called the New Deal. The New Deal was a series of programs and projects to return everyone's wealth, stop unfair trades, and hand out temporary jobs. Most of the New Deal's legislation was led in the first 3 months Roosevelt took office. Those 3 months are known as the 100 days. The WPA, Works Progress Administration, is one of the programs included in the New Deal. The WPA was a program created in 1935 that helped unemployment. The NRA, National Recovery Administration, helped with unfair trade, and again, unemployment and wages. Another program, CCC, Civilian Conservation Corps, provided temporary jobs to those who had lost their own. There were many programs that were set up in the New Deal by Roosevelt, and they're still here to this day. The New Deal, the 3 R's: relief, recovery, and reform. How the Great Depression ended. Many believe that not the New Deal, but World War II ended the Great Depression. The Great Depression was soon to end because the big economic problem had slowly started to fade away. The sudden attack on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese had led to World War II. Since winning the war was much more important than confirming the end of the Great Depression, more than 15 million Americans left their homes and drafted for war. Later on, 1942, $23 billion were added to debt. Afterwards, 1943, $64 million were added. Conclusion. It took some time for everything to take full recovery and things to shift back to normal. Soon everyone adjusted, but more than 1 out of 5 Americans still could not get a job after most of the Depression was over. Since the attack on Pearl Harbor occurred and led to World War II, Roosevelt had to end up fixing the whole Depression after everyone got drafted for war and officially ended the war. It took some time for the long-lasting effect of the war and the Great Depression to wear off. That drastic time in history is something everyone hopes probably will never happen again. Bibliography.